Ladies and gentlemen of my alphas, what did you just say? No, really, what did you just say? Because the moment your voice cracked through the static of the cowards and the comfortable, the universe itself paused. Time stood still. The sheep turned their heads and the wolves bared their teeth. Your words were not just noise, not just air pushed through flesh and form. No, your words were ignition. You didn't just speak, you detonated. You dropped a match in a dry forest and dared the world to burn. And now everyone's losing their minds over you. Good. Let them. Let them scream. Let them panic. Let their fragile world tremble at the audacity of your awakening. Because this isn't just about what you said. It's about what you are. And what you are is a problem, a threat, a disruption to their fragile little systems of mediocrity and maintenance. You are fire in a world built of dry lies and paper promises. You are what happens when a soul stops begging and starts demanding. They look at you and they don't see a person anymore. They see consequences. They see karma in a hoodie. They see divine retribution with a crooked grin and fire in your chest. And yeah, they're scared. They should be. You've spent too long on your knees, apologizing, minimizing, censoring yourself. You tried to fit in, didn't you? You tried to shrink to make others feel big. You bit your tongue until it bled, smiled when you wanted to scream, stayed silent while your dreams died quietly inside of you, but not anymore. That version of you, dead. That you got buried beneath the rubble of every doubt they threw at you. What's standing now is the real you, rebuilt, reborn, and relentless. And let's be clear about something right now. There's no going back. You opened your mouth and exposed your power. You showed them your hunger. You made them hear your name echo through the halls they once claimed as their own. So you think they're going to let that go? Number, they're going to come. The whispers have already started. The fake smiles, the nervous eyes, the quiet meetings behind your back. Let them plot. Let them scheme. You want a war? Good. You are the war. This isn't some motivational fairy tale. This is darkness dressed in purpose. This is rage sharpened into clarity. This is what happens when someone who's been dismissed one too many times finally decides they're done waiting for permission. This is what it sounds like when the underestimated sharpen their pain into weaponry. This is your arrival, not your introduction. You're not stepping into the spotlight. You are the spotlight. You are the fire alarm in a silent system. You are the loudest thought in a room full of followers. They told you to be realistic. What they meant was, be small. They told you to slow down. What they meant was, stay behind. They told you not to be too intense. What they meant was, don't scare them. Because the moment you really show up, fully, loudly, unapologetically, every single mask starts melting. You don't just speak truth, you embody it. And truth has always been dangerous to those who've made homes out of lies. You've woken up something ancient inside you, something they tried to crush with fear, shame, and failure. But it didn't die, did it? It waited, watched, sharpened itself in the dark, and now it's here, clawing through your ribs, roaring with every breath you take. It's not subtle, it's not polite, it's a storm in your bloodstream. And you're not scared of it anymore. You've finally realized it is you. So when they hear your name and flinch, when they feel your presence and shift uncomfortably, when they try to minimize your victories or question your hunger, remember this: they only try to shrink what they fear. And right now, you are what they fear most. Not because you're evil, not because you're cruel, but because you're free. free from their rules, free from their limitations, free from the need to be liked or approved or included. And in this freedom, you're dangerous, because a free mind cannot be manipulated, a free spirit cannot be controlled, and a free soul. It's a revolution in human form. They want to know what the hell you just said? Good. Let it echo. Let your voice haunt their comfort zones. Let your words crack the foundations they built their small lives on. Let them know that someone like you exists, someone too alive to obey, too aware to submit, too wild to cage. You are not their lesson. You are their reckoning. You see, there's a difference between being heard and being felt. Most people beg to be heard, whispering into the void, hoping for scraps of attention. But you don't ask. You erupt. Your presence breaks the sound barrier and slams into their bones before their brains can catch up. You don't just enter a room. You redefine it. People used to ignore you. Now they prepare for you. They rehearse their reactions. They recalibrate their energy. Because the moment you arrive, the frequency shifts. That's not arrogance. That's awareness. And for the first time in your life, you're done pretending not to know your own power. What they hate most isn't what you've said. It's that they can't deny the truth in it. You cracked the illusion wide open. You shattered their pretty lies. You exposed the gap between what they say they are and what they actually do. And truth, real truth, it doesn't apologize. It doesn't shrink. It doesn't come gift-wrapped in comfort. It drags things into the lie, kicking and screaming. And that's what you've become, a walking, breathing, undeniable light. Not the soft kind that soothes, number. You are the kind that blinds, the kind that forces eyes open, the kind that demands change. You want motivation? Here it is. You were built for this. Every setback, every betrayal, every doubt they infected you with, it wasn't the end. It was the forge. They thought they were burying you in darkness. They didn't know you were the seed. They didn't know that pain would feed you, shape you, evolve you. They didn't realize that the more they tried to break you, the deeper you went into yourself. And down there, in the quiet depths, you found something they can't touch, something unkillable. That voice you just unleashed, that's not an accident. That's your origin story bursting through the surface. That's every scar becoming scripture. That's every failure turning into fuel. You didn't just survive, you learned. You studied the battlefield. You memorized the enemy. You trained in silence while they mocked your absence. And now you're back. Not to ask, not to explain, but to dominate. Don't get it twisted. This isn't about ego. This is about reclaiming your name. This is about burning down the lies they built around your worth. This is about no longer waiting for an invitation to a table you could flip with one hand. This is about staring down the world that tried to erase you and saying, I'm still here. I never left. I was just loading. You don't owe them peace. You owe yourself victory. You don't owe them silence. You owe yourself the roar of 1,000 sleepless nights. You don't owe them grace. You owe yourself the kind of self-respect that makes empires tremble. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be remembered, etched into the timeline of history, not as someone who fit in, but someone who blew the damn mold apart. Look around you. Look at the chaos, the panic, the reaction. Why? Because they know. They know you're done pretending. They know you've stepped into your real voice, and they feel the shift. People don't fear your words. They fear what those words reveal, that you've woken up, that you're no longer chained to their approval, that you've unlocked something ancient, primal, and permanent. And here's the truth. From this point forward, nothing will ever be the same. You don't go back from this kind of fire. You don't recage a beast who's tasted sky. You don't unlearn the rhythm of your own soul. You don't silence a voice born in storms. You are the lightning. You are the thunder. And now that you've spoken, they will hear you forever. You want to know what separates the forgotten from the legendary? It's not luck. It's not talent. It's the moment, this moment, when the noise gets loud, when the pressure cracks bone, when the doubt becomes a chorus in your ears, and you don't flinch. When the world screams, too much, and you scream back, not enough. That's what makes you different. You didn't just hear the call, you answered it, and not politely. You kicked down the door and roared so loud, the silence ran for its life. And now here we are. The lines have been drawn. You've been labeled, misunderstood, targeted. Good. That means you're doing something real, something pure. The moment they all start to agree with you, start to clap, start to nod along, that's the moment you should worry. Because that's when you've been domesticated. That's when they've trimmed your fangs and dressed your fire in politeness. But that's not you. You were never meant to be polite. You were built to be undeniable. They're watching now, aren't they? Every step, every post, every move, whispering, judging, wondering if you're serious, wondering how far you'll go. Let them wonder. Let their curiosity eat them alive. Because while they're busy analyzing, you're busy becoming. While they gossip, you build. While they cling to comfort, you climb. And with every breath you take, every word you speak, you rise higher. Not to escape them, but to prove to yourself that you were never one of them in the first place. Because you've seen the other side, haven't you? The numbness, the nothing, the slow death of staying silent, the rot that comes from shrinking to fit spaces that were never built for you. You've tasted that kind of hell, and you chose to come back swinging. You chose to trade peace for purpose. You chose the hard road, the sharp one, the one with blood and bruises and broken bones, and you still walked it. You didn't crawl. You stormed, and every mile of it, every second of pain, etched something permanent into your bones, something divine. You know what that is? Conviction. Not the kind that wavers when it's inconvenient, the kind that stands tall when everything else burns, the kind that turns a single voice into a tidal wave. That's what you're carrying now. That's what's pulsing in your veins when you speak. And that's what they can't handle. Not your noise, but your certainty, your clarity, your refusal to break. You've become a mirror to their weakness, a reminder of what they gave up on. And that's why they're losing their minds over you. It's not personal, it's spiritual. You represent the version of themselves they were too scared to become. And now you're walking proof that it's possible, that it's real, that the cage isn't locked, that the fire never dies, that freedom comes with a price, and you were willing to pay it. You are their exposed nerve, their regret, their echo, and still, you rise. Let them talk. Let them twist your words, misquote your truth, paint you as a villain. You've outgrown the need to be understood. You've transcended the lie of likability. You are not here to make sense to those who've built their lives on illusion. You are here to disrupt, to dismantle, to destroy the illusion that comfort is success, that safety is peace, that silence is strength. They should have never let you get back up, but they did. And now the beast is breathing again. The flame is awake, and there's nothing left to lose. You've already lost their approval, lost their comfort, lost your illusions. And what's left? Power. Raw, ruthless, holy power. The kind that can't be negotiated with. The kind that bends steel and fractures fake smiles. The kind that creates worlds. And that's what you're doing now. Creating. not asking, not waiting, not hoping, creating. A path, a standard, a movement, one word, one breath, one brutal act of truth at a time. You are no longer part of the system. You are the system's reckoning. You are the storm they prayed would never arrive. And now it's time. Time to stop apologizing for what you are. Time to stop negotiating with people who wouldn't last 5 minutes in your storm. You were not made for their pace, their comfort, or their comprehension. You were made to outlast, to outshine, and to outburn the weak echoes of lives half-lived. So let them look at you like you're insane. Let them stare like they're witnessing a ghost, because you are. You're the ghost of who they could have been if they didn't fold when the pain came, if they didn't tap out when the pressure rose, if they didn't beg for comfort instead of choosing war, because you didn't fold, you didn't beg, you didn't quit. You stared down the abyss and didn't blink. You swallowed the fire and didn't choke, and now every step you take is laced with the kind of gravity that no training, no title, no social approval can replicate. You walk with the weight of truth. You carry the scars that never fade, and you wear them like armor, not because they don't hurt, but because they matter. This world doesn't need more pretty words. It needs ferocity. It needs clarity. It needs people who've walked through hell and come out hungrier. And that's who you are now. You're not speaking to be heard. You're speaking because your silence was a betrayal. You're speaking because your truth has become radioactive and it's leaking out no matter how hard you try to hold it in. You've become the embodiment of everything they were warned about. Wild, honest, unpredictable, free. But here's the part that burns deeper. You're not just doing this for you. Number. You're doing this for every version of you that died in silence. Every time you swallowed your voice. Every time you turned your fire down to keep the peace. Every time you betrayed your own vision just to be accepted by people who couldn't even see their own reflection without shattering. You're carrying all of them with you now. You owe them this. You owe them vengeance, clarity, redemption. You're doing this for the ones who never made it out, the ones who folded under pressure, the ones who died small deaths every day, trapped in systems, in patterns, in lies. You're doing this because someone had to break the cycle, and that someone, it's you. Not because you're better, but because you were willing. Willing to bleed, willing to lose, willing to be hated, mocked, misunderstood, willing to be true when it cost you everything. So when they say, "Bro, what the fuck did you just say?" you smile, because you know what you said broke something open. You know that your voice just tore a hole in the narrative. You know that truth isn't supposed to be gentle. It's supposed to be disruptive. And you're not here to comfort anyone. You're here to confront everything. Every lie, every fake handshake, every mask, every shallow praise, every false limit. You are not the villain. You are the reckoning. The backlash of a universe that's had enough of cowards being crowned. You are the rebellion forged in rejection. You are the slap across the face of mediocrity. You're the reminder that some people still feel, that some people still fight, that some people still burn with something ancient and furious and holy. So don't flinch, don't explain, don't soften. Every time you speak your truth, another wall crumbles, another illusion dies, another person wakes up. And yes, some will hate you for it. That's how you know it's working. You were never meant to be loved by everyone. You were meant to be felt by the right ones, to be a signal to the silent, a beacon to the buried, a warning to the world that someone real still walks among them. They want to keep you small because your size exposes their fear. They want to keep you quiet because your volume drowns out their excuses. They want you tame because your freedom shatters the very rules they depend on. But you're done. Done with waiting. Done with hoping. Done with pretending you don't feel what you feel. You didn't come this far to ask for validation. You came to redefine what's possible. So here's what you do now. You double down. You go louder. You go harder. You become so undeniable that the world bends around you. You let your work speak with the voice of thunder. You let your grind hum like a war drum in the distance. You let your presence twist the air, not out of arrogance, but because you've earned it. Every drop of pain, every second in the dark, every setback that didn't kill you, it built you. And now you're here, on the edge, alive, wide awake, fully loaded. And the world doesn't know what to do with you. Let them shake. Let them scream. Let them say, "What the fuck did you just say?" over and over. Because what you just said wasn't just noise. It was declaration. It was prophecy. It was the start of something they'll never be able to stop. You are not finished. You are just beginning. So speak again. Say it louder. Say it clearer. Say it with the kind of madness that makes the gods lean forward and whisper to each other. They're here. Say it like fire. Say it like war. Say it like you've already won. Because you have. So now, as you stand at the edge of everything they ever told you to be, as you hear those words echoing back, "Brooo, did you just say?" Know this. You just declared war on the world that tried to keep you small. You just lit a torch in the darkest corner where doubt thrived, and you brought fire to the ashes of your own fears. What you said wasn't just noise. It was a verdict, a reckoning, a call to arms for every soul tired of silence, every spirit sick of shackles, every mind starving for something real. You didn't whisper to fit in. You roared to break free. And this is your moment, the one where the mask falls away and the raw, unfiltered you stands alone, untamed and unafraid. Because this isn't just about what they think of you. It's about what you think of yourself when the lights go out, when the crowd fades, when all that's left is the voice inside your head, the one that either tells you to quit or commands you to rise. And you've chosen to rise. Not tomorrow, not when it's convenient, not when it feels safe, but right now, in this breath, in this second, right here, right now. You're not an accident. You're not a mistake. You are a force of nature carved by pain, sharpened by rejection, fueled by a fire they can never extinguish. Every time they try to box you in, every time they try to silence your truth, you break through. Because freedom is louder than their fear. Because power belongs to those who refuse to bow. Because greatness is born in the moments when everyone else is losing their minds over you. So walk forward with that knowledge burning in your chest. Speak with the certainty of someone who has seen the abyss and chose light instead. Live with the courage of a warrior who knows the battle is never over. And that's the point. Because it's not the easy victories that make legends. It's the relentless pursuit through storms, through shadows, through every goddamn night you thought you wouldn't make it. And here you are, still standing, still fighting, still speaking, still winning. The world can't handle you. And that's the highest compliment you'll ever receive. Because the second they get comfortable with you, that's the second you stop becoming you. So keep them off balance. Keep breaking their minds, tearing down their walls, shattering their illusions. Because in your chaos, there is truth. In your noise, there is power. In your fury, there is freedom. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can ever take that away. This is your revolution. This is your time. And every single word you speak from now on should remind the world and yourself that you are not just a voice. You are a movement, a wildfire, a reckoning, a truth that cannot be silenced. So go ahead, speak, roar, break the silence. Because when you do, the world will lose its mind over you. And you'll be exactly where you were always meant to be, unbreakable.